Hi everyone, welcome to the Whole Army Development Group. I'm here with Master Sergeant Ricciardi, and today we're going to be talking about the Air Force Reserves, right?
Correct.
And Master Sergeant Ricciardi is currently stationed out of Whiteman Air Force Base in Knob Noster, Missouri.
Old Knob Noster, yep.
And we're currently out here at the deed doing some big things, but I just wanted to introduce Master Sergeant Ricciardi. So go ahead and tell us about yourself, sir.
Yeah, so you kind of already gave me an introduction. Master Sergeant Ricciardi, first name's Kyle. I was born and raised in Northern California up until the age of 18 when I enlisted in the Air Force in 2011, November 2011. So I just hit my 13-year mark just a few weeks ago. Congratulations to me.
Nice.
So yeah, throughout my Air Force career, active duty, part of it at least for the first part, I was stationed in Alaska for 3 years. There I had a few various positions, but from starting at the airman level, from entry controller to alarm monitor, patrolman, armorer, and shortly before that, I PCS Alaska. I got orders to Minot, North Dakota.
Yeah. Cool.
As soon as I got there, I started on staff, and I got 13 brand new airmen straight out of tech school. So you can say that I learned to be a NCO pretty quick there. Within about a year of being there, I transferred over from 791 Missile Security Forces Squadron over to, well, it's still part of 791, but over to TRF. I spent about a year on TRF, went to the Global Strike Command Assaulters course at Camp Guernsey while I was there. I also went to Combat Leadership course while I was there too, and a few other various things.
Cool.
From there, I PCS to Joint Base Charleston in South Carolina, where I spent the last 5.5 years of my active duty career. There I was patrolman, BDOT controller, police services NCOIC, and then a flight sergeant before I got out of active duty. So got out of active duty in May of 2022, and ever since then I've been in the Air Force Reserve. So
Cool. That's awesome. Thanks. Yeah. So what I guess all that stuff that you did during your active duty years, were there any like highlights during that time?
I would say my deployments. I had 2 deployments while I was active duty. Those were my highlights. My first one, I was a brand new airman, had just got to Alaska maybe within a month of being there. I actually came here to the deed. So this is my very first deployment, and now my third one. So that was one highlight of my career. I just really enjoyed myself out here, especially being a brand new airman. Second deployment was good too. I went to UAE. It was not the greatest part of the year. It was I think May through November, so I was here for a really hot part of the year in UAE. But those are 2 kind of highlights I can think of off the top of my head. I can't even remember how many courses and different schools and trainings I've been to, but all in all, I think what I enjoyed most was being a flight sergeant my last couple of years of being active duty, just because, it was I was in that position to make a difference, at least on the flight level, to people's lives, give them back the time that they deserved, because that's the biggest thing. I can't pay them more.
Yeah.
So at the very least, I could not waste their time, and also, give them back time that I thought they deserved. So yeah.
I know we've talked offline a little bit already about it, but what were some of the deciding factors from going to active duty to reserve?
Yeah, big question. There was a lot that played into it. I think the driving factor was more so in my personal life versus my military life. My daughter was born in August of 21, and I got out in May of 22. Kind of wanted to be more centralized around family and not have to move anymore. So that was one of the factors in me getting out. Also, to be completely transparent, I was just burnt out. I kind of promoted quick. I was a tech when I got out of active duty. I made tech by 8 years, which isn't. It's pretty quick. It's not the fastest, but I just kind of burnt myself out, I think, and I just felt like I wasn't able to put in what I needed to at that point. So I decided to get out and pursue a career in the civilian sector. So
Nice. Yeah, that's good. You mentioned that like sometimes we make those career decisions not just for our career so much, but like the personal aspect of it also.
Absolutely.
Everybody has a different story. Everybody's got different reasons, but um, that's good. Um, so since you've been in the reserves, what are your experiences like? What's your opinion of it all? Is it pretty good? Has it been worth it?
Yeah, so when you're part of a reserve unit, at least on the security forces side, it's the unit is a lot smaller than what an active duty unit would be. Normally active duty units are probably a couple hundred people. My reserve unit's probably 50,
Dang.
maybe a little bit less. So the cohesion, you kind of know everybody. Um, you go to drill together, you go to training together, because that's what reserve is all about, is training and getting ready to deploy, come out here to these locations. So you get, and there's not a lot of turnover either. So at regular active duty side bases and stuff like that, or units, you get to know somebody pretty well, and then next thing you know, the next year they're gone. With the reserve, a lot of people are in that local area, and that's why they're at that reserve base and that reserve unit rather, and so they tend to stay a lot longer, and
Yeah,
so you get to know people a
that's
lot better,
nice.
which is so I would say like unit cohesion. Um, One big thing that I thought that was great, especially because I've been on the other side of it, the active duty side, is the reserve. Obviously, people have jobs on the outside, so they bring a lot to the table when it comes to experience and skill set, from teachers to construction workers to police officers to firefighters, medics, and in the civilian sector. Somebody from my unit, he's a deputy marshal for the U.S. Marshals.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's just various experiences and skill sets that reserve members bring to the fight. So.
Right. Yeah, that's nice having that flexibility to do something else
Mhm.
but still wear the uniform.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. So, can you talk about what you do outside of the reserves?
Yeah, sure. So I'm obviously security forces in the Air Force, and I've always wanted to be an actual cop. But I'm a commissioned police officer in a city in Missouri. I love my job. It's probably the most fun I've ever had in my life when it comes to work. I don't feel like I'm really working.
That's
Uh,
good.
the experiences you get while being a patrol officer, just can't even describe them. You just kind of got to experience it. The
Hmm.
stuff you see, the emotions you get, the people you deal with. It's kind of really unique to that job, and every day is different, which I like because I can get bored really easy. And
Yeah,
yeah,
same.
so it just keeps you. It just always keeps you guessing. You never know what's going to happen each and every day,
Yeah,
whether it be good, bad, and different. Um, but yeah, so.
cool. Nice. So the whole going back and forth between the civilian life and the military life, does it ever get kind of messy as far as like trying to balance that, or is it pretty manageable?
I would say for me, it's easier to manage because I did almost 11 years active duty, so I already know how all this works. I know the enterprise, and I know the ins and outs of the military. Versus you take somebody who's just been a traditional reservist their entire career, and the first time they get on active duty orders, it's kind of a culture shock almost, because
Hmm.
you're in the uniform almost every single day,
Okay.
and you're around the military enterprise every single day versus just a few days a month or 2 weeks a year.
So you would recommend like doing the active duty side first, even just for a short amount of time, and then crossing over. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if it would be a recommendation. I would say it is a perk, because I'm pretty much, even though I've been out of active duty for 2 years, I'm pretty much able to get plugged in to wherever I need to be in an active duty unit and be able to do my job without having to lean on anybody. That's just from my active duty
That's
experience.
nice.
Yep.
What jobs do you currently hold
Mhm.
as a reservist?
So back at home station, I'm considered a squad leader. Or it could be equivalent to like a flight chief on the active duty side. But
Okay.
since it's smaller scale, a lot less people than in an active duty unit. I'm a squad leader back home, so I got about 15 personnel under me. I do essentially flight chief responsibilities, a lot of administrative stuff,
Okay.
um, and so that's my job back at home, or back at my home station unit. Here, I was the flight chief for about a month, then some change, and now I'm the section chief of training, and that's including future operations and intelligence. So I'm the
Cool.
section chief of that right now.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I kind of like the smaller scope is a little bit more easier to manage, especially speaking from the active duty side of things. Like
Mm-hmm.
we always we're always like talking about how we would like to have more manning, but sometimes that's a double-edged sword.
Absolutely, it absolutely is, especially when you're in a supervisory or a management position. Manpower is great, but it also means you have more work to do because you got more people to manage. So,
Absolutely.
yep.
Yeah. So what are some goals as far as like time-based or uh, uh, just for your own professional development?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are some goals you have while you're in the reserves?
So, once again, being transparent, because I'm just an honest person. I will always, when I'm in this uniform, I always do my duty. I always do it to the best of my ability and take care of my people. I will say that my primary focus is on my civilian job because that's where I make my money at. That's
Mm-hmm.
where my focus needs to be.
Okay.
Because it's my profession now, and that's what I do on a day-to-day basis when I'm not wearing this uniform. But some goals that I have, I actually, it kind of relates to my civilian job too. I actually want to transfer over to what they call an IMA position. It's an individual mobility airman.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar, but essentially it's for guard and reserve. You can transfer over to an IMA position, and essentially you're attached to an active duty unit, assisting them with their active duty things. And it's usually what the big perk about it is you do all your time at one point. So you do your drill time all at one set point essentially in the year, and then after you're done with that, you're done for the year, which coincides with my job really well.
Yeah.
On the outside, because I only get allotted a certain amount of military time, and if I can just get it all done at once, I can also not have to be away from my job.
Yeah, I see that.
In and out throughout the year, so it just works out a lot better.
Yeah, I can
Yep.
see that being a little bit easier on the schedule.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You can dedicate. It's more predictable too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely more predictable. From my understanding, and I could be wrong, somebody can fact check me if they want to, but it's more tailored to somebody in my position where I have a very high tempo civilian job, or it's my the other part of my life, to where they allow you to essentially pick when you want to do your time. I go and do my time, and I come back, and I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year. So
I like that.
yeah.
Are you and so like I know retirement's different for reserve and guard and active duty, but for y'all is it kind of like do you have to wait until you hit a certain age or before you
So
get that?
yeah, traditionally, you can, if you have 20 good years and in the reserve. Good years means you get your minimum amount of points for that year. I believe it's 50 points according to the regulation. So just to backtrack a little bit, a drill weekend gives you 4 points. So you get 2 points per day. Nice. So Saturday would be 2 points, Sunday would be 2 points, so a total of 4 points per drill weekend. Nice. Now, normally we drill 11 months out of the year, so that'd be 44 points. But you also have your annual tour or your long drill in there. So you normally, if you make all your time, you're supposed to be, drilling. You have over 50 points easily that year. So that counts as a good year towards your 20 years of retirement. So you have to have 20 good years in the Air Force Reserve in order to pull a retirement.
Wow.
Now, caveat to that is the retirement age that you can pull at is 60 years old.
Okay.
So you still have to wait. But another thing about it is anytime you were on active duty orders for consecutive 90 days, it takes off essentially 90 days from your retirement. So if you're on orders for 90 days, it'll take 3 months off of that age 60. And it's any consecutive days after that 90. It has to be 90 days at least. And then if you do another 90 days right after that, it's 180, all the way up to a year, right? Okay. So for me, I essentially, with my active duty time that I did before going into the reserve, I took 10 years off that 60 year.
Okay.
Or age 60, so I'll be able to pull at 50 years old.
That's nice.
So yeah, I mean, if I decide to, pull chocks and retire at 39 years old from the Air Force and, hang up the uniform, I still got to wait another 11 years before I can pull that retirement, which they call that time the gray area or the gray zone that the retiree is in. You're considered retired, but you're just not pulling your
I
benefits
see.
yet. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That it's kind of weird. It's a little complicated, but
yeah,
once you get it down, it's like okay,
yeah.
this is when I'm gonna start pulling. This is
I'm
when I'm
still figuring things out, and all it is research and reading the regulations,
for
and
sure.
yeah, and I mean I'm a nerd like that sometimes, so that's what
Hey,
that's what I go and do. But
education, man,
yeah,
it's power. You
absolutely,
know.
yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah. So since we're out here at the deed, we're away from family, our actual like family,
Hmm.
but and it can be kind of tough around the holiday season.
Yeah, sure.
But if you wanted to shout out to anybody, feel free.
Yeah, to my mom and dad, love you guys. They're in Virginia. My daughter, Kennedy, she's 3. Uh, miss her every single day. Love you, baby. And oh, to my department back home, love you guys. You guys are the best, and I miss you guys. Can't wait to get back next year and start working calls. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, hey, appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So if anybody wants to hear any more about the reserves, I'm sure if it's fine, if they can reach out to you.
Absolutely.
Just DM us. We'll get you that information. But thanks for watching today. Like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. And we'll see you next time.